I have an issue going on back here that I'm going to fix with a crescent wrench and electrical tape. Now I'm going to fix it for now. Did you come to help? Huh? Did you come to help? Atta girl. Atta girl. Alright. I have two older, they've been around a while. They may just be kind of the end of life. Or it may be because I have failed to check the water level in them in a long time. But one or both of these I think is going bad, and I need to get them disconnected and get them out of here. This was a temporary setup I did for, we may or may not get into why I did that. Maybe once I get them out. Give me a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. These were down to about 11.7 like last week, and I thought, wait, there's no reason why these batteries should be low. So I put the battery charger on them, and it charged for a long time. And then when it was done, the battery charger cut off and had an error. So I really didn't realize like I say, what's that been, 2 weeks? And they're still holding it. Maybe all is not lost. I still need to get these out of here, so I want to check them individually, and of course, you know, wash the tops off, and pop the vent covers off, and refill them, and I want to test these individually. Right now they're hooked together, so they, whatever. Even if one was dying on its way out, and the other one, you know, hooked together, a bad one would be drawing the other one down with it. So, but that doesn't maybe, so I want to get them apart and let them sit for a bit separately and see if one of them drops down and one of them stays healthy, or maybe they're both on their way out. I don't know. We're gonna do checking stuff. All right, this first one, and I already loosened it with a wrench. I gotta this is what I gotta be careful with, because this one goes up through the chassis. This was one of the old cables. I actually painted it black. You can see it's actually red. This is one that goes up through the chassis. This came back to the original. You know, this was a generator compartment, so it had these nice heavy cables. I have it configured differently than the original configuration, but this goes up to the other, to my engine battery actually. And there's a solenoid that for the auxiliary start, it will, you can toggle it, and you know, if that battery goes dead, you can toggle it, and then you get help from these batteries to help get your engine started. So that's how I have this configured. And let me see, that system used to tie into the original house batteries used to be under the steps, and it used to be tied into those. Well, I've kind of done, like I said, done some reconfiguring. We do things a little bit differently now in the Coachmen, since I put lithium batteries to run the house batteries. Kind of, them circuits up there don't do the same thing they used to. I've changed it up. So anyway, because this goes up to the house, or up to the engine battery, even though the solenoid's not engaged right now, I want to wrap this all up with electrical tape, just in case. I don't want to hit metal and sparks fly. So we're gonna tape that up, and then we'll get the rest of this out of here. All right, we're all disconnected here, and something strange is going on here. This should not have power right now, unless all of a sudden that solenoid up there decided to stick. There shouldn't be power coming back here, but there is, because I have this emergency light, this handy work light, kind of wired into this this little system up here. I put an electronic fuel pump, an electric fuel pump up here. This was the old generator bay, so there was a fuel supply coming back here for the generator, and so I took advantage of that, and I put a fuel pump in, and some toggle switches here. One runs the fuel pump. Now the valve is off. We're okay. So let's see. All right, and the reason I did that was because now that I have an external, because this one's missing, I have an external generator. You know, I can pump my own gas into a gas can and fill my generator up. All right, so that, and what I did was, since I got back up here to Pennsylvania, was I just no clamps. I just put it on there tight, just temporarily. What I do is I'll pull the tractor over here. And now this will reach, I can put it up in the gas tank of the tractor and fill it up, just pumping fuel out of the Coachmen. So that's why kind of why when we had it out the other day, it was down to 1/3 of a tank. We had a lot more of that than that, but I've been doing that. So I got my own fuel pumping station here. So we have the fuel pump and the emergency light. Those should not have power, like I say, unless that solenoid's stuck up there. I'm gonna have to find out what's going on here. So there's that light, and oddly enough, okay, here's, I got the cables off that joined them together. We had the negative, and we had the positive, and what I found was this back one was already like really loose. I mean, it was like loose and backed off a turn or two. Now that is weird. I mean, y'all know me, and you know, my lessons on loose or dirty connections. Well, that was both. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why that would have been loose. These are put in here, these all tightened down nice, and I mean, everything I do is that way. I'm very conscious about that. That is peculiar, what might have happened there. Now, that might remain a mystery. I have no idea. I also had one of these connected up here. This is one of those rodent deterrents. It makes both an audible sound at some frequency that we can't hear, and does this weird strobe flashing thing. I had this hooked up in there when I was out in the Southwest, where like pack rats are more of a problem. We don't have those around here. It was just I don't know if they work or not. It's just I know they're bad out there, and I know other people have had problems where the rodents have caused serious problems chewing wires and stuff, and big bucks for the repairs. I didn't want that going on. I thought, you know, maybe they work, but fortunately I didn't have any problems, so maybe it did work. All right, let me get these out of here. I want to get them in on the bench, or I want to get them cleaned off a little bit first, and then I'm gonna have a closer look at these and check the water level. Wow, are those things filthy. I would never ever open these vent caps with all that dirt on there. Open that up, and that all that dirt, you know, fall down in. Take a chance all that crap getting inside the cells. So we're gonna give these things a bath, and we'll dump a bunch of rinse water on there. Probably blow them off with the air compressor. You know, it's like make sure they're good and dry. But, whew, man. And I noticed, and what I don't see a lot is corrosion on the terminals. Too much of my batteries, I don't know. I clean them periodically, and check them, and make sure connections are tight. Like I say, I don't know what was going on with that one, how that happened. But good tight connections, they just seem to, I don't know. I don't know how I seem to have the problems I used to way back in the day. I'm gonna clean these up a little bit. Spend just a little more time cleaning them up, and then get some rinse water and stuff, and get them blowed off a little bit. All right. It's still like impossible. I mean, stuff still is around there. I just got to do it as best I can, and be careful taking them off. And we'll see. There'll still be some around. I'll have to gently try to make sure that we'll get to that point. All right. I'm gonna get some rinse water, and it'll go for there. I did find the manufacturing dates. They are a couple of months apart. This was July of 2018, and this is September of 2018. So, but they both sat on the shelf, and they were put in service at the same time. And these two particular batteries, they've always been married together with cables. They've always shared whatever duty it was, like you know, they had to do that I gave to them. So what one did, the other did with it. These two have always been paired. That doesn't necessarily mean that they'll go bad at the exact same time. That's just not an exact science there. It'd be very typical for one to fail a little bit earlier than the other. It's just one of them things with batteries. Right. From a distance. All right, here we go. Now they've been separated and they're independent now, probably for half an hour. I think that's long enough that if one was going to start dropping, you know, okay, a fully charged lead acid should be resting at about 12.7 or 12.8. So my thought was, well, maybe one of them is starting to fail. You know, maybe the other one's like down to 12.2, and because they're hooked up, you get an average reading, you know, of 12.5. I thought, you know, maybe one's good and the other one's drawing it down. But now that they've been separated for a bit, what I'm seeing is, I don't know if I can do this with, what I'm seeing here is this back battery. No, they're both, I checked it a minute ago. Yeah, that's a 12.5. So, and then this front battery. Oh, I have these backwards. Not that it matters. Just the difference whether it shows a negative sign if you have them backwards. Positive to positive. Negative to negative. It should not. There. It doesn't show that negative sign. So, yeah, that says 12.5. And then this front one also says 12.5. So maybe they're both good. They just, maybe I need to check the water level, and hopefully the water hasn't gotten below the top of those the lead plates in there. So it's not good if you let them get that low. We'll see what we end up with here. All right, and gently they put these notches here on the inside is just for that. Come on, gently. Alright. Oh, don't fall. Got the camera sitting in an upside down bucket. Let's see what we end up with. Alright, this is acid and water, distilled water mix. Highly corrosive. Don't get it on your skin, or it says here, shield eyes. Contains explosive gases, can cause injury or blindness. No sparks, flames, or smoking. Sulfuric acid can cause blindness or severe injury. Flush eyes immediately with water, or get medical help fast. All right, so sulfuric acid is nothing to mess with. You need to be extremely careful when doing this. See how that stuff, that dirt and debris still finds a way to get, you know, washed under the caps. And man, that's a hard thing to deal with. You really don't want to get that in. About as best you can do is try to wipe it in the away direction of the openings. Yeah. And then this one's really bad. Huh. That's not a whole lot you can do about that, except just do the best you can. You know? That's about it. And say screw it, just is what it is. Yeah, that's about as good as she's gonna get. Alright, I need to get a flashlight and see what we have here. Oops, I sure wish I would have serviced these a little bit sooner. I'm surprised they're still holding the 12.5 volts that they are. Some of them are lower than others. Now this one, let's see what you can see here. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, that first one you can see the tops of the plates. The second one still has water in it. Okay, it's still above the plates. The third one's down. What's over here? I'm only gonna show every one of these. It's below the plates. I only have 1 out of 6 cells that the water's still above it. My bad. I should know better. Oh, I do know better. Now this one I don't think is as bad. Okay. There's that one's barely above the plate. I don't know if you can see that. And that one, oh, barely. It's not above, but it's that's about it really. And and these 3 are all just above it. So what I'm going to do is that probably certainly damaged the plate slightly. Took a little bit of a toll on it. Being as they still hold 12.5 though, it's not terrible. So what I do is top these all off till and not full. I get them above the plates and a little bit more. There's these things, they're like little baffles in there. You can see that there on the left. There's a distance between the top of the plate and that baffle, and one on this side. Need to, get it up into that range and use a little bit more. But you don't want to just overflow them and have it running all on the top here if you can help it. What I'll do is I'll top these all off. The Coachmen doesn't need, I don't need this all going on anytime soon in the Coachmen. What I'll do is I'll top these all off with water, and I'll put the battery charger back on them individually, let them go into the full charge cycle where it goes into like float mode and the thing shuts off. It's a nice charger. It's a more modern day charger, and it has some nice functions and different charging cycles. As the battery gets fuller, it tapers off and really tops them off nice. And so, well, at least don't seem to be completely trashed. I get some more use out of them, even though they're 5 years old, just about. Yeah, so top them off, put the caps back on. Now, I'm gonna top them off, charge them, because you'll see bubbling as they charge. I'll give them a visual inspection, and you should see bubbling in each one of them cells as they charge. And then I'll cap them. I'll let them sit, hang out here for a couple of days, and recheck the voltage. All right, I spun these around and moved them this way just to make my life just a little easier. And using your favorite kitchen funnel, get a nice one out of the kitchen. Oh, nice. Okay. And you should use distilled water. I'm not. The thing is, distilled water is supposed to have the minerals removed, and minerals will collect to the plates. That's the idea behind that. So I've seen drinking water, bottled water with minerals added for flavor. Imagine that, water that you add minerals for flavor. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to use that, extra minerals. Maybe just a natural amount of minerals. Or like they say, distilled. How about no minerals? Or minimal minerals. Huh. Oops, got a little ahead of myself on that one. I need more. All right, where did I leave off? This one. Oops, I knew I'd do it. I knew I'd overfill one. Oh, dang it. Maybe I can get it to roll into that last one. Well. Okay. I'm gonna put these caps back up here for now. Alright. Alright, we'll work from left to right. Alright, negative on the negative one, positive on the positive one. Alright, by the way, I know I don't have to tell a lot of you. You already know from the learn the hard way, that rag is going to be done. Never get any of that sulfuric acid on your clothes. Next thing you know, next time you come out of the washing machine, you'll see you got a bunch of big holes and it eats the fabric. You might not see them right away, but the time you wash it, dry it, it comes out, there's holes where it's splattered. So don't get none of this on your clothing either. Alright, so right now, it's plugged in, turned on. Let's check the battery voltage. Should agree with my... oh, it said 12 volt 4 there for a second, but automatically, I didn't even hit the charge button, but it automatically went into charge mode. Putting 16.2, it's bouncing around a little bit. Oh yeah, it'll come down. Alright, so it's putting over 10 amps in for a bit. Till it gets up to a certain point, it says, and according to the percentage down, I don't know if you can see that down there, looks like it's about 80%, roughly, a little gauge down there. So, we're gonna let this charge for a while, get that one done, put the caps on, we'll get this one done, put the caps on. I'll let them sit for, a good day, maybe two. Now, we'll recheck them to see if they how they're holding up. I don't know if you spotted it or not. If I'm thinking, what am I doing messing with two old lead acid batteries when I got this beast here, this 200 amp hour lithium? Why'd I even mess with those? Throw them away, recycle them, put this bad boy in there. No, this is going in the van. It's a battery upgrade for the van. Now they are all percolating. That's what we'll call it. And this is what happens when it's they're in your vehicle too. And your alternator's charging it. Going down the road, the alternator's charging your battery. These things are in here percolating. That's why these caps are vented to let those gases out. And be some little sneak hole there. Oh yeah, it comes out. Those must be all connected together underneath there, but then it comes out that little slot and out the side. Oh, which should line up. So these go on this way, so that slot lines up with these slots. So that's how those the vents on these batteries work. Okay, so we're gonna let this do its thing. Alright, let's jump ahead to the next morning. Alright, bad news. This one was on charge all night. And this morning, I got up early this morning, had my first coffee, I come right out here, and it was like this one, where this one's at now. It was still drawing a little over 6 amps. That should have been done. At worst, it should have been down to the point where it was trickle charging, maybe just down to the very last steps of topping it off. that would have been, you know, probably a little under 2 amps. That should have been down much lower. It should have been done. If that was a healthy battery, it should have been done. So, and the battery charger kicks down, and the little thing comes up here and it says FLO, flow. Probably stands for, I'd have to get the manual out, probably stands for float charge. Kicks into float charge. It's like a battery maintainer mode. That should have been done, I mean, all night. Come on. This one has been on for a few hours now. And it too, if it was a healthy battery, I mean, I've charged enough batteries, that should have been down, maybe not done, but that certainly should have been down to, you know, probably less than 2 amps by now. And it's still acting the same. I think I've permanently damaged these batteries. Typically, I mean, it's not uncommon to get easily 5 years plus, probably more like 7 years, you know, of batteries like this, if they're properly maintained. But it looks like in about 5 years, these are not quite 5 years, almost. Another month, that would have been 5. 3 more, that would have been 5. Yeah, I kind of ruined my own batteries, I guess. And I could mess around, probably get a little bit more life out of them, but they're really kind of done. Anyway, I knew there was an issue going on back there, and I just want to get to the bottom of it, and I can put my mind at ease. Like I said, it's not an issue. It's not a critical thing that I have to have in the Coachmen to have it functional and usable and everything. I just want to get to solve this little mystery. I'm going to set this aside for now, and we're going to move on to some other things, and I'll get back to this on some day where I'm bored and need something to do. Okay? All right, thanks for hanging out and messing with batteries with me today. We'll be back soon. I'll see you.